Hello, my name is Kirk Leszewski, and I wanted to put together a little video of some ICF procedures that aren't typically covered under a normal install video. Sometimes the biggest question that I've always had is someone asks what happens if you're on the top of the wall, maybe 10-12 feet up, and you happen to drop something down at the bottom of the wall. How do you get that back? Is it gone forever? No, it's not. It is actually a very simple process to track that down. So I'm just going to go demonstrate this really quickly. Let's say I've got a razor knife here, and I drop it down the wall. Imagine this is 12 feet up. So I go down to the in the wall, and I look down, and I look to see where my tool is dropped. And you can usually see all the way down into the concrete from the top. You locate the cell that it's in. You can see that it's in between two ribs. It's in that cell there. So I've already cut the ICF because I didn't want to make a big mess. But ultimately, you can cut that ICF out here. When you do go to make your cuts, try to make sure that you put a little bit of a bevel on it. This will be the piece that you cut out. And you notice you've got a little bit of a beveled edge there. That's going to help the flow of concrete when it's running down the wall to fill up that space, that void. Now, obviously, my razor knife is right here, and I can grab my tool and put it back. And this is also a practical application when there's certain building codes that require, after you've installed your wall, to run your rebar, your vertical rebars in. And they want them to tie to the vertical rebar coming out of the slab. Well, if this wall is 10 foot tall, you drop your rebar in, you're not going to be able to get to that. But so if you cut a hole in here, if your rebar is sticking out, you can easily reach your hand in there, grab some twist ties or some loop ties, be able to tie each cell. You'd have to do this probably every 32 inches is typical. So I would suggest ripping some pieces of plywood. Very simply, to put this back, you don't worry about putting the foam back in place. That's just going to get in the way of the concrete. Could dislodge itself if you try to do it, and then it would block the concrete. So we just leave that hole open, take some plywood, grab some screws, and screw it off. And what will happen is this is going to create the form for the concrete. So when you pull that off, the concrete will come out all the way to the edge. So that's about that's as simple as it gets. And now you're ready to pour concrete. This application is also effective when you're trying to install a beam and you want the concrete to come out to the edge of the foam so that the beam has something solid to tie into. And simply, you do the same process. You would cut a hole in the foam to allow the concrete to come out to the edge of the foam. When you go to put your plywood on, I would suggest drilling a hole through it and taking your J-bolt and sticking it through. So then when you go to put your plywood in, your J-bolt's going to be sticking in the wall, and it'll be sticking out. You just push it into about where the threads are at, so it allows for when you get your laminated beam or whatever you're going to hang on that wall, you can put a hole through that and be able to bolt it along with a washer. So that's kind of a quick synopsis of just some little simple tricks, little techniques with ICF that make it very easy for the install.